The thing I get asked a lot: will Stargate be woke when it returns? Let's have a chat about it. Welcome to Sidetrack, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. If you're a regular Sidetracker, you'll know I'm not the biggest fan of the term woke. I kind of hate it. I'm not one of those people that go, it doesn't happen. There are filmmakers that produce propaganda. There are filmmakers that... Hi, Harry. There are filmmakers that put their own thoughts, opinions, agendas ahead of the story. And that's the only real problem I have, really, when things get a bit woke, is when an agenda or that propaganda gets ahead of the storyline that the people are trying to tell. And it does happen. The only thing I would argue is that it's always happened. There's always been propaganda TV shows. There's always been this sort of thing. For how many decades did we have, like, very Cold War propaganda in our movies, TV, etc.? TV has always been, and movies, kind of racist, kind of sexist, kind of other things, depending on the culture at the time and how it was then projected through our media, you know? So, you know, you can't watch a lot of 1970s TV shows and think, oh God, this is quite misogynistic. It's culture and society has changed, it's adapted since. We, though, since the Me Too movement, have had a little bit of a problem with some media and some TV shows, and I do think it's gotten a bit out of hand, and it has made a lot of people angry and started shouting woke at things. Let's just remember quickly that the word woke actually means awake to, like, prejudice, etc. in our society. It's supposed to be a good thing, but anyway, it's been corrupted a little bit by some people that have made it into a negative thing. But to be fair, it is a negative thing when it overtakes the agenda and blah blah blah, like I just said. So, will the new Stargate series or anything else that MGM are planning to do in the next couple of years, like the RoboCop reboot of the franchise, be woke? Since the Me Too movement, and this is a thought I started a second ago, so excuse my editing, but since the Me Too movement, executives have been absolutely terrified by the prospect of being called racist, sexist, anything elseist. And I think that's been very evident in a lot of movies, a lot of TV series and things. I mean, you could even say the Marvels thing in Endgame, when all the Marvel women appeared and they sort of did that dramatic, oh, we're all women, rah. If I was a woman, I would have found that really patronising, by the way. But anyway, they did that, at least in part, I think, because the executives were going, there's a lot of willies running around, there's not a lot of women. Can we have a little less of a cockfest and have a little bit more of, you know, actual the women standing up and fighting as well? So that is really a response to them being called sexist. You only had Black Widow until then, and even she was a sex figure, really, initially. You know, Scarlett Johansson in the first film, yeah, okay, she could kick ass, but she was really there just to get Robert Downey Jr.'s attention. Iron Man was like, hello Black Widow, how are you? So, you know, even that. Now, Marvel has become a lot more balanced over the last few years, but there still is the truth that the most popular characters in Marvel, in DC as well, it's not just Marvel, are men. So, there's been an attempt, and I think an overcorrection by studios, etc., to try to balance this out. We've been sexist and we've been racist for about 100 years, guys. Let's go completely the other way. And that has pissed off a lot of people because it overtakes the story. So, is MGM going to still continue to make that overcorrection? Well, no, because there's now one thing that the studios are almost as scared of being called. They're scared of being called sexist. They're scared of being called racist. They're also now scared of being called woke. And we've started to see that in a lot of TV shows. I keep telling you guys how I just saw The Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone in it, and it's brilliant. It's fantastic. But there is a scene in there, I think it's our third or fourth episode, which did stand out like a sore thumb. The character, the Tulsa King, played by Sylvester Stallone, has just got out of prison, and he's talking about how he doesn't understand people are always on their phones, and he has to, he can't tell a girl she looks pretty, and he's basically complaining about the millennials. But he does mention things sort of being woke. It was very much the producers, the writers, even the actor, I think it came a lot from Sylvester Stallone, knowing a little bit about his politics, basically saying, this show won't be woke. So, don't worry about it. You're going to enjoy this show. This is for middle America. This show is for men and women that, don't want to see too much politics in their TV. And it was very, very good. Now, I don't need a TV show to tell me it's not going to be woke. I just need it to, have a story. I want TV shows and writers to have agendas. I want them to have and to be able to tell us about the things that they think are important. If a writer feels that there is racial prejudice and he wants to say something about it, then great. And in the genre I love the most, science fiction, that can be done through metaphors and stories. At the end of the day, almost every android ever in every sci-fi book ever is really about slavery or prejudice or lacking freedom in some way. The android is really the perfect way to tell a story about slavery without actually having to do a big serious movie about slavery. So the studios are now afraid to be called woke. I think actually She-Hulk, when they tried to poke fun at woke, and they basically did it several other times throughout the series, and the social media reaction to that was dramatic. It went down like a lead balloon. Oh, my arm's starting to hurt. I really felt this was an attempt by the studio to put the woke people and the people that shout woke in their place. They were pointing a finger at them saying, you're a bunch of morons, basically, and we're going to laugh at you. The problem with their attempt was it failed badly. It riled up the people that shout woke even more, and actually the people that don't shout woke sort of started thinking, maybe the studios are the ones, maybe those people have actually got a point. It backfired massively, and I don't think we'll see that again in any major TV show or series. At the end of the day, whether Stargate is criticised as being woke or not will come down to the creator. At the moment, we still strongly believe that is going to be the guys that brought us The Expanse. It's going to be Hawk Ostby and Mark Fergus. I don't see anything in their IMDb that suggests that they are going to come at this with anything other than an attempt to make a really brilliant Stargate series. And I don't see anything in their IMDb and their history of work that suggests they really have an opinion or an agenda that is going to overshadow the show. The executives, though, still will put pressure on them to fill certain demographics, certain rules, certain things that they want the show to say. Is Amazon the type of studio that will do that? Generally, no. Generally, they pick people to run the show, and those people then run it. I'm told that Amazon are very much a business. The bosses at the top really don't get involved. Now, that can be a really good thing sometimes, because you get shows like The Boys, which is just allowed to get on with it. It can also be a bad thing sometimes if you've not got the right people in control. Rings of power. So this is my very long-winded way of saying I don't think Stargate's going to be woke. It's going to matter who ends up running it, of course, but I think the studios have had a couple of years where they've panicked. I think that time is now past. I think if anything they'll end up going the other way, particularly with the success of shows like Yellowstone, which really ain't woke. I think the executives have realised that yes, they need to not be sexist, they need to not be racist, but they also don't have to massively overcorrect and go completely the other way either. That we are grown-ups and we can have a little bit of balance in our TV. So, will Stargate be woke? No. we'll be all right, people. And anyway, let's not start accusing it of being woke until the damn show's at least been announced, eh? But guys, get into the comments and tell me what you think. Is TV sort of getting back to normal after a massive overcorrection and, you know, executives panicking? Do you see a change in the last couple of years, maybe, with a lot of the television going back to what we're maybe used to? And do you agree with me, though, that TV shows will always have propaganda, they will always have agendas, and that's not necessarily a bad thing? Get into the comments and tell me exactly what you think. If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It really helps us out and you'll never miss any of our new videos. Also, you can go to patreon.com/sidetrack, where most of our new videos premiere first and you get to see them without the adverts. You even get a free gift. You're welcome. Also, go to sidetrack.co.uk, where I do articles based on a lot of our videos and we try to add a little bit more information for you to digest. So go and check it out. I'm now going to go and take my dog and have a lovely walk on the beach. See you next time, guys.